How do you feel safe sexually in relationship when you've experienced abuse in your past, whether it's physical, emotional, and or sexual abuse? We're going deep. This one's big. So many of us have experienced abuse as children, as infants, adolescents, as adults. Once, multiple times, acute versions of abuse, ongoing abuse, chronic abuse, compounded abuse, various abuses. And there is a part of us that brings that into relationship. And we bring it into relationship in such a way that hurts us and hurts our partners. That unresolved wounding and trauma is detrimental to the growth, to the trust that can be built in relationship, to the intimacy that can be shared. And we lose so much of ourselves in relationship because we haven't dealt with our traumas. Now, I'm very specifically speaking to us as individuals who are aware of our abuse. Because remember, there are some of us that have experienced abuse, really intense, acute abuse, and we've shut that shit down. We have completely forgotten about it. And we've done so to help keep us safe because the memories or the feelings, the intensity of that, to be flooded with that is too much for so many people. It's too much for the fragility of the ego and the psyche. And so we shut that stuff away. We lock it up. But it permeates. It permeates our existence and our relationships. It leaks out in our behaviors. If you ever find yourself being passive aggressive or abrasive or really short and sharp, or if you find yourself hiding from the world, or if you think, wow, my reaction didn't really match that situation just there, it's leaking out. The energy has to move. The intensity has to leave you. You're going to have this constant feeling of, I need to protect myself. I feel unsafe. So let's explore that because this is a really important part of this. How do you feel safe sexually when you're vulnerable, raw, and open in relationship, when you're sharing all of yourself with another, when you've experienced abuse? And let's just say that maybe you have worked on yourself. You're aware of it. You've worked with counselors, with psychologists, with therapists, with coaches. You have support groups. You have your own practices, internal practices and routines and embodiment practices that you lean into. And sometimes stuff can still come up, right? There's layers to things. I mean, does the intensity of that abuse pass? It can do. Does it completely leave you? Perhaps, perhaps not. I think it's our relationship that changes to it. But new relationship can bring a new set of dynamics, which raises the intensity of what you've been feeling in the past, and maybe you haven't felt it for a while. Maybe you've been in a relationship for 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, and it's the same person, yet you both are changing in that relationship. So there's an evolution there. There's new versions of you coming through, new perspectives coming through in that relationship. So how do you feel safe? We have to get to a place within our own selves where we're able to communicate to our partners. We're able to share our truth. So many of us hold back sharing our stories or sharing our past because we carry a fear that we will be rejected or abandoned or humiliated. That is intrinsically linked to us feeling unworthy of love, of giving and or receiving. And so there's a low self-worth that comes from that. And with that comes low confidence. And we begin to hide in our relationships and we don't share ourselves. We carry shame. Shame around the abuse that we've experienced. Shame for how we've reacted in the past in relation to that abuse, because of that abuse. Shame around feeling less than or weak or vulnerable or being humiliated for what we've experienced or being shunned or seen differently. And so the first step is getting ourselves to a place where we feel worthy enough that we can present all of who we are to the world, particularly our partners. Because what happens is when we've experienced abuse, and here's the paradox, right? You may be thinking, but I feel really safe with my partner. Why am I reluctant to share myself sexually? All of a sudden, our sex life has been profound. It's been connected. It's been beautiful and intimate. Why now am I shutting down? Why do I feel like I have a fear of intimacy? Or maybe you feel so safe so safe with your partner that they have inadvertently given you permission to relax, to breathe. And because you feel so safe, maybe you're able to access a part of your abuse or your trauma or that story or big feelings that are connected to that experience or those experiences that you couldn't access before. Now, as a process, as part of that process, you're shutting down temporarily. You're feeling unsafe, but actually the paradox is that you feel super safe to feel unsafe in your body. And if you can recognize that, if that is you, if this is one of those circumstances that you're in, you get to be in that and share that with your partner. You get to be vulnerable and open and share all of that. Now, you want to obviously, not completely, but at some level remain intimately connected, sensually and sexually. Now, there may be time and space where you need that physical space, physical break, so to speak. And you just have to share what that looks like and continue communicating that, what your needs are, what you're feeling and experiencing. And also asking your partner to be able to check in on you in the way that you need to. But a beautiful system that can work really well is green light, amber light, red light. And so you can communicate in red, amber, and green, or red, orange, and green. And green is obviously green light. Go ahead. Let's engage. Let's be intimate. Let's explore. Let's be spontaneous. Let's explore our fantasies. Let's get creative. I'm feeling really open right now. I feel really safe in this process, in your arms, in our dynamics sexually. Orange light, amber light. Oof, I'm moving with trepidation. I don't feel fully connected to myself. There's some stuff coming up, but I still want to be close to you. I need to be close to you. I have this need to be close to you. It helps me feel safer. I feel it can help me process. Orange light, red light. I need my own space right now. I can't be sharing sexually and opening my heart up in this way. I'm really tender and vulnerable right now. I'm even feeling weak right now. I'm feeling disconnected right now, whatever you're expressing, right? But and you have this communication style and structure that you can share with each other to help you feel more connected. Having the talk when you don't need to have the talk, what does that mean? That means being proactive in how you're sharing. So whether it's a conversation about sex, about what your needs are around sex, exploring sexual fantasies, when you're in a healthy place within yourself, having these tools to lean into, these conversation types to lean into are really, really important. Healing, seeking external healing modalities, feel-good modalities, putting pleasure, healthy pleasure back in the body outside of the relationship, so you're not just focused on, I need to get all of my pleasure from my partner. I need to make them make me feel good, because that's a lot of pressure you're placing on each other and a great deal of expectation. Make sure you've got support outside of the partnership as you're moving through this stuff that's coming up in your life at this period of time. They will help you understand that, whether it's a counselor, a coach, a therapist, a spiritual healer, a shaman, a psychologist, whatever it may be, right? A trauma-informed specialist that has dealt with sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, all of the above. Making sure that you're working with someone, having support, not alone in your journey. This is so important. And again, the feel-good modality. So yes, sexual connection and sexual intimacy is deeply important in a relationship, no matter how your relationship is dressed up. And there are going to be times where you need space away from that. So how do you cultivate intimacy together in other ways? Have fun, play, engage in self-care practices together, like having a mud bath, going on a road trip, having a bath, going for a walk, being in nature, eating grounding, healthy food, sound healing, whatever it may be. Do these things together and do them separately. Look after each other, check in on each other. Know that the intensity that you're feeling now, don't make your discomfort wrong. Do not shame yourself for feeling intensity or feeling pain or feeling discomfort. Give yourself grace and release in your grieving process, because that's what's essentially happening. Is you're asking your partner to help you grieve, to support you to grieve in the way that you need to, because in this sacred union that you're in, this partnership that you're in, you're both able to access together in your sacredness of union. You're able to access these parts of you that have been repressed, that have been stuck in pain, and they are there and they are coming up to be released, to be let go of. for you to breathe through that. And it may feel super intense, and that's okay. You're still safe. When it gets too much, you pull back, you lean into your support. You communicate that to your partner. You have your go-to healthy practices that regulate your nervous system, your grounding and somatic resources, your journaling practice, you're swaddling yourself in a heavy blanket, you're getting your feet into nature, you're being immersed in the water, whether it's the ocean or a lake or a bath or a float tank. You're moving into those resources that help regulate your nervous system and that tell your brain and body, I am safe. And you utilize each other in partnership to get to that place as well. So we feel safe sexually in our intimate relationships through communication, through healthy boundary setting, through tempering preferences and expectations, through sharing vulnerably, through trusting ourselves, through increasing our confidence and our self-worth, through having support systems in our lives that can serve us at a deeper level, through ensuring that we're having fun and play and curiosity in our lives, wherever we can, of course, because sometimes when that abuse comes up again or the sense of it and we're having to work with it, it's very difficult to be curious because we don't feel open and spacious, we feel closed. So what can you do to help you feel open and spacious? You're not alone in this, and know that partnership and relationship is here to serve us at a deeper level, and we're here to serve the relationship at a deeper level, which in turn serves the new earth and the new world at a deeper level. And we're creating that through intimate union, through sacred union with self, with our intimate romantic partners, with our friendships, with our connection to our purpose and to our vision and to our service in the world. Know that you are not alone. Safety is the healing. What can you do to help you feel safe?